there, welcome to Sarah Grace Cookie Co. Today we're going to be talking about 3 easy Easter designs that you can do quickly before the holiday. So if you're new here, if we haven't met yet, hi, I'm Sarah Grace. I teach people how to decorate beautiful sugar cookies, and I teach them how to create flexible income from home with that skill set. So as always, I'm going to have a blog post with more information, more links, things that you need, all that good stuff over on my blog, sarahgracecookie.com. You can get that link down below as well. That'll take you directly to this specific post. And today I'm going to be sharing with you how to create 3 different easy, beginner-friendly cookie designs for Easter. These are perfect for busy moms, booked up bakers, maybe all of the above, whatever you need these for. If you're trying to get some quick orders out the door, just so you can kind of beef up that holiday income, or if you're trying to find something fun and exciting to do with your kids that's at a fun beginner level, these are going to be perfect. So let's dive in. The first one that I have is the Crackle effect on a cross. Now, you can do this on any cookie, but I wanted to start off with the cross because that's the meaning of Easter to me as a Christian, is Jesus dying and rising again to save us from our sins. So, making this cross a few years back, it's been the one that I've used for my Easter picture, like when I say Happy Easter on my Facebook for years, just because it's the one that means the most to me. So just wanted to throw that in there as I tell you about how to do this beautiful cross with this Crackle design. You don't even have to make royal icing in order to do this one. All you have to do is bake the cookie and it makes this beautiful Crackle design on top. So what you'll need is just your raw unbaked cookie and some white gel food coloring. Now, I know that sounds weird, but they do make it, I promise. You probably haven't seen it in the baking aisle. You do have to order it. I order from a brand called Watercolor. I get it on Amazon. And like I said, I'll have all this linked for you, and you can just go straight and order it. I get the big tube of it because I use a lot of it between doing videos. And back when I used to sell cookies, I used a ton of it. But you don't have to get the big one. You can get a little tiny one like this just to test it out. You can mix that with any color gel food coloring you want. If you want to do like a dusty pink Crackle, you can mix it with a tiny bit of red or some pink food coloring. You can mix in any color you want. I mixed white and black to get this kind of gray color, and I thought it turned out really pretty. It was kind of to match a piece. When I made this, I was working with my friend Misty to design some cookies to sell in her store, and these were some pieces that she was selling in her interior design store, Misty Watson Design. So all that to say, I made gray and painted it over the top of the raw sugar cookie. So you just mix up whatever you want. Use your special designated cookie paintbrush or a new paintbrush that you're going to use for cookies. Take that and dip it. Just paint it over the top of the cookie before it goes into the oven. Make sure you get it all on there. Bake it. And as the cookie expands, it's going to create this beautiful Crackle effect. Now, you can add some decorations on top of that if you want, but you could also just leave this cookie like this. And you don't have to do this with this shape cookie. You can do this with Easter eggs, with chicks, with anything you want. And you can have even like a mix of shapes would be pretty. And you can have this Crackle effect on lots of different cookie designs. Now, I took some royal icing and I made some floral designs in the center of this cross. I teach how to do that in some other videos here on the channel. You can look up royal icing florals here on my channel, and I've got lots of videos about how to do that and how to make the royal icing and all that good stuff. But you could even buy some decorations from the baking aisle at your supermarket, like some pre-made royal icing decorations, and that would be beautiful with this as well. So make this as easy as possible on yourself. If you're not a baker and you're just trying this out as a mama who wants to try cookie decorating, absolutely go get you some pre-made decorations and throw those on there. But if you want to add some florals, I think that's really pretty too. Next, we have a set of wet on wet Easter eggs. Now, when I talk about wet on wet design, you might recognize this if you've ever done watercolor before, like actual watercolor painting. But when I talk about wet on wet design, that's just taking royal icing that we've thinned down to be at like a liquid consistency or a little bit more runny so that we can use it for decorating sugar cookies. And we take two different consistencies. We take a couple different colors using that same consistency and we layer one on top of the other so that it creates this smooth pattern effect, and it's really, really pretty. You can look at this almost like sand art, and you can add dots to the top. That's what I did in one of these eggs from this tutorial. You can do simple dots or stripes. That's what I did in this tutorial, and you can find the full tutorial inside the Cookie Classroom course. You can get it for as little as $1 on my website. It's the whole every royal icing technique that you can imagine if you're interested in that. And I have a very in-depth Easter tutorial over there. But just as a quick, if you want something that you can do in the next couple of days, or just something really easy, the wet on wet Easter egg design is super simple and super pretty. And you can take that and make dots on top. You can do lines. You can even take that with your scribe tool and make little swirls, or like go back and forth and kind of think of it like sand art and make the different designs that you might with sand art, except do that with royal icing. There are lots of options with this, and you can combine those different techniques and the different patterns that you make and use them all on one egg. I went simple with this one. I just did a base color and I did a couple different colors of dots on top. And I thought that turned out really, really cute. This is super kid friendly when it comes to cookie decorating with the kids at home. If you want to just mix them up a couple colors, they can just decorate to their little heart's content with whatever they want to put on there. And they're so, so fun and so much creative opportunity. Another great thing about the wet on wet design and the Crackle cross design, or just the Crackle technique that you can use, is you don't have to incorporate dry time. With a lot of cookie designs, you have to kind of layer what you're doing and allow the layer before to dry prior to doing the next layer. But with this, you don't. You just do one round of decorating. You don't have to wait for it to dry unless you want to do something on top. It's just already ready. So that saves some time and definitely saves some steps. Now, the third technique that I want to share with you, and the third cookie idea for Easter that I want to share with you, are these watercolor cookies. I used a few different Easter shapes, this bunny and this egg and a cross, to make these pretty watercolor patterns. But it was time saving because I wasn't trying to do a proportional bunny face or come up with a new design for each one. I just did the same the same watercolor pattern on all of them and had this kind of pretty silhouette with each of the cookie designs. And I thought that was so pretty. So to create a watercolor design like this, you'll just need 20-second or flooding consistency icing. If you're new to royal icing, if you haven't heard about consistency or any of that yet, go take my consistency confidence class or watch my last video or the video before last where I talk about royal icing for cookie decorating and I teach you how to get to the right consistency. It makes it really easy. But you take your icing fresh from the recipe, add your water until you get it to that 20-second consistency, and all you need is the one color. You need that white base layer. You pipe around the edge, flood it, get your smooth layer on your cookie, and then you use lemon extract and gel food coloring with a paintbrush to create this watercolor effect. Now, I use lemon extract, and y'all have probably heard me say on my channel before, it's because I just don't do alcohol. That's part of my faith. I'm Free Will Baptist, so alcohol is not in the picture for me. And I joke that my mama or my granny would see me walking through Walmart with it under my arm and be worried about me. But I just personally prefer to use lemon extract, and I love the taste that it gives cookies. I've gotten lots of compliments on that light lemony taste that it gives the cookies. So that's what I use. Some people use Everclear vodka to get this watercolor effect. So whichever you prefer, both will work just fine. I just fill up a little paint tray. They sell them in the baking aisle at your, if you go to like a hobby store, they'll have the little paint palettes in the baking aisle. You can also order them on Amazon. I have a set of paint brushes that is dedicated to cookies, and I mix this liquid, the lemon extract, and the gel food coloring and make the little patterns. Now, I think I did some flowers on these. I used some really small brushes and did kind of a cute pattern. So it's a little more advanced if you want to go that route, but you wouldn't even have to do that. You could just do some dots or some blobs to do like a watercolor effect or some stripes. You don't have to get fancy with it. Now, if you do want to make it a little extra fancy, on this particular set, I did order some gold luster dust, edible luster dust, and you can mix that with the lemon extract or the Everclear vodka as well and paint around the edge of the cookie. I did like the upright edge around the side of the cookie and just along the outside so you could see it and it would look gilded. And it made these look so elevated and so fancy. It had been a while since I actually looked at these. I made these back in, I think it was 2021. I was looking back at my iCloud photos from then. My boys were like 2 or 3. So this was forever ago, but it was such an impactful set. When I look back at them, I was like, oh, I forgot I made these, but they were so pretty. And it made me want to make more like that this year. So me and my boys may be getting out the lemon extract and the gel food color and making some pretty tie-dye themed Easter cookies this year, because these just brought me back to making those and they were so fun to make. Now, let me caution you here. You want to make sure that you let that layer of royal icing dry completely. If you're new to cookies and royal icing, that's going to take like 6 to 8 hours. You can put them in your oven on the lowest setting, turn your oven on the lowest setting and then turn it off, put your cookies in, leave a crack in the door. That will help them dry a little faster, but it's still going to take like 2 to 4 hours, even with them in the oven. So make sure that they're dry completely and that you can touch the top of them and not make a dent in the icing. Because if you don't wait until they're totally dry, you run the risk of them having holes in them, and you don't want that. Just keep that in mind as you are thinking about making your cookies. I hope this has given you some fun Easter cookie decorating ideas and sparked your creativity so that you can go out and design your own beautiful Easter cookies. If you'd like some help learning those royal icing techniques, like I mentioned, I've got tons of tutorials, tons of tips over at sarahgracecookie.com. I have the course Cookie Classroom that walks you through all the different royal icing techniques so that you can create the cookie designs that you dream up. And you can get access to that for as little as $1. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video. Click the like button, do all the things, hit all the buttons. It makes me happy and it helps me make videos like this in the future. Thanks for watching, and I'm so glad you stopped by the kitchen today. And by the way, if you're wondering, just a little post-video chit-chat. If you're wondering where these came from, these are some lilies that my boys made with their handprints. So if you're looking for another fun Easter craft for your kiddos, we read the book, The Parable of the Lily. It is so, so sweet. It's about a little girl who gets a lily bulb in the mail from her dad. Her dad has like secretly sent it, and it's a mystery. And she gets this lily bulb and it looks dead and she's not excited about it. So she like throws it out in the yard. And then Easter morning she wakes up and realizes it's become a lily. So I just thought it was the cutest thing. And I found these lilies that you could make with their handprints on Pinterest. You have them cut out their little handprints and then use your fingers to kind of curl the fingers back and make the little lily stems with construction paper and add leaves. And this probably isn't going to be one of those crafts that lasts until they're grown. We'll probably try to save it for as long as we can, but I mean, you can see it's just pretty sitting on our table. We all made one and I set them in a jar, and this is set on our table during Easter week. And I think it's so sweet that it's made out of their little handprints, and they have fun making it too. So just a little side note if you're looking for something fun to do with your babies.